All right, we're going to be practicing balancing redox reactions now, and we've learned how to do this in class, or you're just finding out for yourself. I've got the rules for balancing redox off to the right, and we'll be following those step by step. So the first thing we're going to do, if it's not already balanced into half reactions, we're going to go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and balance this into half reactions. I have two half reactions going on here. I've got the copper turning into copper 2 plus, and then the second half reaction is our NO3 minus turning into NO2. So we're going to go ahead and get those two half reactions written, and then we will go from there. So let's go ahead and start with our copper half reaction. We have our copper turning into copper 2 plus, and then our second half reaction is our NO3 minus turning into NO2. All right, so we've gone ahead and did step one. And now we're going to start our work on balancing each half reaction. So I'm going to just change my pen size a little bit, change my color so you can see that step. So the first thing we're going to do is balance elements that are not O or H. If you notice in this particular half reaction up on top, we don't have, everything's balanced. We have one copper and one copper, so we don't need to do anything there. In the bottom half reaction, we have one nitrogen and one nitrogen, so we don't have to do anything there. So we didn't really have to do that step, but I'm going to check it off. The next thing we're going to do is balance oxygens by adding water. Again, our top reaction, we don't have any oxygen, so we don't have to worry about it. But our bottom reaction, we do. We have 3 oxygens on the left side of the reaction and 1 on the right. So I'm going to go ahead and balance that out by adding water to the right side. Now you're going to see that we have 3 oxygens on the left side of the arrow and 3 on the right side. So that step is done. Next step, balance H by adding H plus. Again, top reaction, no hydrogens, we don't have to worry about it. Bottom reaction, as soon as we added that water, we added 2 hydrogens on the right side. So I'm going to go ahead and add 2 hydrogens on the left side. So I've done that. And now finally, we're going to balance our charges by adding electrons. I'm just going to add a different color for this so we can see it more readily and a little bit bigger. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our charges. We have a charge on this side of this reaction here of 0 and a charge over here of +2. Now we want to balance the charges by adding electrons. Now keep in mind that electrons are negative. So whatever side I'm adding the electrons to is the side that I want to bring the charge down on. So I've got a charge of 0 on the left, +2 on the right. So in order to make this equalized, I need to add my electrons over here. How many do I need to add? I need to add 2 electrons on that side. So now the charges are balanced. If I add a +2 and -2, I get a total charge of 0 on the right-hand side to accommodate for the 0 on the left. Now let's take a look at the next part. We've got this reaction here. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. So charge-wise, I totally on the right-hand side have a charge of 0 right now. On the left-hand side, I have the 2 H pluses, which is +2, and I have the negative charge here. So overall, I've got a +1 charge. So in order to make that equal to the right side, which is 0, I'm going to have to add an electron. So I'm going to go ahead and add just 1 electron on this left-hand side of this. All right, done that. Step 3, we have to multiply to equalize electrons. So what we do for this step is we take a look to see how many electrons we have in each of our reactions. So in my upper reaction, I have 2 electrons. In my lower reaction, I only have 1. So we're going to multiply this lower reaction so that we can have the same number of electrons in it that we have on the top reaction. So I'm going to take this entire second reaction and multiply it by 2. And I'm actually going to rewrite that so it's easier to see. So the second reaction, I multiply everything by 2. So 2 times the 2 is 4 H pluses plus my 2 NO3 minuses plus my 2 electrons yields 2 NO2s plus 2 H2Os. We've done that. I'm going to go ahead and write my top reaction as well, my top half reaction, just so it's next to it, and we can start talking a little bit about canceling. So copper yields copper 2 plus 2 electrons. All right, this is my favorite part. Step 4 is simplify and add the half reactions. So what we're going to do is we're going to simplify anything that appears on the right and left-hand side and add those reactions together. So the first thing I'm going to do is simplify with my electrons. They cancel out. And honestly, for this particular example, that is the only thing that cancels out. So my overall reaction is going to look like this. 4H plus 2NO3 minus plus my copper yields 2NO2 plus 2H2O plus Cu2 plus. That is my final reaction.